guys. Oh, first wet run since the summer. So it's actually quite nice. Anyway, 2018 Formula One driver market. It's the gift that just keeps on giving, isn't it? Unbelievable. Got your bags.
I'm coming. Bye bye, camera.
Wow, Kimi Raikkonen, Charles Leclerc swapping seats. Who'd have seen that coming? Well, I'm not sure anybody saw it coming. I'm not sure Ferrari saw it coming. I don't think Sauber saw it coming. I don't think Kimi even saw it coming about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Certainly don't think Sebastian Vettel saw it coming. I don't think anybody in Formula One could have predicted that this would be the outcome at the end of Kimi's career and at the beginning of yesterday. So let's talk about who are the big winners, who are the big losers in this latest deal, in the incredible merry-go-round that is the 2018 F1 driver market. Hold on a minute, but first. That's better. Right, the winners. Well, let's start with the obvious biggest winner here, and that's got to be Charles Leclerc, hasn't it? What an incredible opportunity this is for him. Thoroughly deserved, by the way. I think he has been given an opportunity by Sauber this year where he's been put into an average car at the back of the Formula One grid pretty much, and he's found a way to shine, to stand out from the crowd. He's found a way to make sure the rest of Formula One sits up and takes notice of him. And that is a sign of an incredibly good driver. So I think on that base alone, those are the people, those are the guys in Formula One who make it. You know, if you think about Max Verstappen, he did exactly that. He found a way to make people notice that he was good enough, even if he was in a Toro Rosso back in the day that wasn't capable of challenging for race wins, you know, and podiums. But he found a way. Dogs, can you leave the camera alone? He found a way to stand out. And Charles Leclerc has done exactly that in the most sublime way this season. Starting, I guess, we all really took notice in Baku, didn't he, where he got that 6th place, I think it was, finish. Really, really strong drive. But since then, he's just carried it on. It wasn't a one-off, and that's what really makes him special. It wasn't a one-off fluke result due to some weird and uncertain circumstances. He's carried that level of performance right throughout the year. So thoroughly well done, Charles Leclerc. I cannot wait to see what he can do in a Ferrari. What an opportunity. It's perhaps the biggest opportunity since Lewis Hamilton was put as a rookie into that 2007 McLaren that was also, you know, a very, very strong car. 2007, 2008, he was at the front of the grid as a very young, very inexperienced Formula One driver, and he delivered. I fully expect Charles Leclerc to do exactly the same. He could well emulate Lewis in terms of delivering a world championship very, very early on in his Ferrari career. We'll have to wait and see. He's obviously a big winner. Ferrari, huge winner here. I think they've got a future world champion on their hands. They've got him early. They've brought him through the ranks, through the Ferrari Academy. It's a real positive sign that one of their Academy drivers has now made it to the main Formula One team. I think he will give Sebastian Vettel a big kick up the backside, if you like, in that Seb won't have it easy. And actually it'll be really interesting to see the dynamic between those two, because if you think back to the Lewis Hamilton-Fernando Alonso situation of 2007, where this young kid came in to our team, McLaren, as a rookie. Then we've got this world champion, multiple world champion. In fact, Alonso is the current world champion at the time, sitting on the other side of the garage, thinking things were going to be easy, thinking that he'd be the number one, he'd be running the show, and this kid over the other side of the garage would be there to back him up. Well, maybe that'll be how it will start out in the first couple of races of 2019. But what if Charles Leclerc can give Seb a run for his money? What if he realises he's fast enough to take him on? he's not going to want to sit there playing second fiddle for very long. No racing driver does. And that is when we'll see fireworks happening. That is when we'll see perhaps the real measure of Charles Leclerc, but perhaps more interestingly, it will see the real measure of Sebastian Vettel. How does he take that kind of pressure? How does he deal with an annoying little kid who's potentially faster than him in the same car on the other side of the garage, potentially with a championship challenging Ferrari underneath them? Really, really fascinating stuff. The other big winners, let's look at the other side of this deal. Kimi Raikkonen, a great deal for him, 2 more years, and that's important, 2 years. So he's not going through 2019 wondering if he's going to get a contract extension. He loves racing. He loves being behind the wheel of a Formula 1 car. So for him, this is a big win. I don't think he saw it coming. I think he was beginning to resign to the fact that if Ferrari let him go at the end of this year, that would be it for his Formula 1 career. He's managed to secure a deal back where he started in Formula 1, back at Sauber. It's a great kind of circle, isn't it, that completes. So I think that's a really positive for him, that he gets to lead a team, he gets to help develop a car. And actually, you know, Sauber are not the team that they were 3 or 4 seasons ago. They are now very much a midfield team with that latest Ferrari engine and a pretty good car underneath them this year. They've built a decent team as well. Ex-Ferrari designer there, Fred Vasseur, of course, running the show. Really, really experienced racer. And I think that Kimi will fit in very well there. So I'm actually quite excited to see what they can deliver. There's no pressure, there's no expectation really on Sauber or on Kimi Raikkonen at that point. So he should be able to enjoy his final 2 years, what we assume will be his final 2 years of Formula 1, without the pressure that Ferrari brings, without the spotlight that Ferrari brings. And I just wonder if perhaps they could even step up the grid and start to mix it. Who will be Kimi's teammates? Hot rumour, and the biggest rumour, is that it will be Giovinazzi. And that would be fantastic. That would be a really strong driver lineup. With the experience of Kimi, the youthfulness and the pace of Giovinazzi, what a lineup that would be. Other winners, of course, are us, the Formula 1 fan community, because we get 2 more years of Kimi Raikkonen. And as I've said on this channel before, you know I'm a big fan of Kimi. But as I've said before, Formula 1 would not be as entertaining a place when Kimi Raikkonen leaves. So the fact that we've got him guaranteed for 2 more years, I think is great. We've lost a character in Alonso at the end of this season, so Kimi is a real strong point that Kimi stays in Formula 1, and I think we'll all benefit from that. All right, let's look at the losers on this, because yes, it seems like a great deal for everybody. It seems like, you know, we've got the best of both worlds. We've got Charles in a Ferrari, we keep Kimi in Formula 1. All sounds great, but there are going to be some losers in this. And, you know, the first of those, you might say, if the rumours are true that Giovinazzi will get confirmed as a second Sauber driver, that would mean then that Marcus Ericsson has lost his drive at Sauber. And that's a shame. It's a shame when any driver loses their seat, and certainly if that spells the end of a Formula 1 career for Marcus Ericsson. Because look, he's been going a while. He's been going, what, 5 years in Formula 1? And yes, he's been propping up the grid down at the back in a car that's been substandard. And yes, he may not be world champion material as a Formula 1 driver. I guess we will never really know, but he hasn't found a way to shine like Leclerc has. So on one hand you could say, okay, well, we may have lost Marcus Ericsson. Perhaps that's not the end of the world for Formula 1. But for him, you've got to say, this is his career. It's everything he's worked towards as a kid. And when anyone loses their seat or loses their job, this is the same across life in general, isn't it? It's a sad time. So you've got to spare a thought for him. I wonder what he will end up doing next. Still plenty of opportunity. He's not disgraced himself in Formula 1 by any stretch. There is rumour that, and I don't know the answer to this, that Kimi has or potentially will take a stake in Sauber, potentially the stake that Marcus Ericsson or Marcus Ericsson's people had in Sauber. So that could be another part of that deal to unravel. And I guess you might also say people like Esteban Ocon, Stoffel van Dorn, because that's another seat on the Formula 1 grid that has now gone. and therefore another opportunity for those guys who are currently without a seat for 2019. That's another opportunity, another door closed as to where they might be able to race. I know it's very unlikely that a Mercedes-backed driver in Ocon would ever be driving a Ferrari-powered Sauber next year. But even so, there must be talk going on behind the scenes that Ocon must be going to Toto Wolff, to Mercedes, saying, look, you've got to release me. Thank you for all the help here. But if you can't find me a drive, the fact that I'm a Mercedes-backed driver is now hindering my career progression in Formula One, because nobody wants to take him because he's linked to Mercedes. And that surely must be true when it comes to a Ferrari powered team like Sauber and Haas. So perhaps it was never going to be Ocon, but still a door has closed on him. Van Dorn could have been a possibility. And that looks like that's another opportunity gone for him as well. Those are two amazing drivers that you could argue are sitting, or potentially could be sitting on the sidelines next year, while a guy who's nearly 40 in Kimi Raikkonen takes that final seat and extends his career for another 2 years. So I totally get the side of things where people might be saying that's a frustrating situation that Formula One is in. I understand that, absolutely. The truth is there just aren't enough seats for everybody. When Toto Wolff talks about 3-car teams in the future, this is exactly why, because there's so many good drivers coming through, we haven't got space to put them in Formula One. And yet where do they go when they've finished F2, when they've won the F2 championship? People like George Russell, people like Ocon, Van Dorn, Giovinazzi, all of these people are trying to find the next step on the ladder, which is Formula One. And there's not enough space for them. So, you know, you could say young drivers as a whole, even people that are nowhere near Formula One yet, young drivers who are looking to make the next step up, might be looking at that thinking, where is my opportunity going to come from to break into the highest level? So there are some losers in this. And do you know who my most interesting take on this, on the loser side of this argument? I wonder if Sebastian Vettel is a loser here. I'm pretty sure he won't be happy about this deal happening. I'm sure he won't say that out loud, and he certainly won't say it publicly, but he was very comfortable with Kimi Raikkonen as his teammate. He has been for the last 2 years. He's been pushing behind the scenes for Kimi to stay because he knows what he gets. He knows he gets a backup driver most of the time. He knows that probably on pure pace, he can outdo Kimi. So his position as number one at Ferrari is very, very safe. It's very comfortable. Now he's got an unknown, hotshot, young, upstart kid coming into his team. I just remember what happened last time that situation occurred. When he was at Red Bull, he was the man. He was a 4-time world champion, and Daniel Ricciardo rocked up out of nowhere and blew him out of the water. And Seb didn't take that well, he didn't handle it well. It was a very difficult situation, and ultimately ended up forcing his move out of Red Bull and onto Ferrari. So I wonder if Sebastian Vettel could end up being the biggest loser here. Anyway, let me know what you think. I mean, is that bad? Is it time that Charles Leclerc, or whoever it might be, comes through and starts stepping up to be the new number one at Ferrari eventually? Do we need, and is it great that we've got the young blood coming through? Does it matter that Seb might have his feathers ruffled? And how will he react to that? Will he up his game as a result, or will he go into one of those downward spirals that we've seen so often, where he loses his rag and underperforms, makes mistakes as a result? So many questions, but so many reasons to be excited about 2019 Formula One. Already, I cannot wait. New cars, new drivers in different positions, brand new drivers as well, new regulations. I mean, it's exciting stuff, isn't it? Can't wait. Oh God, that's gone cold. Gonna make another one. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think. I mean, there's so much to talk about here, so many opinions. Please do chip in with your opinions. Let me know. Good move, bad move that we heard about yesterday. Any more winners or losers that you've thought of that I've missed out, and I'm sure I have. Let me know. Fill that comment section up with your opinions, and we'll get a discussion going on there. Thanks so much, guys. See you tomorrow.